Hello students, let's continue with your module 2 for export marketing. So far we have spoken about how the distribution of the goods can be done in the international market, and in detail we spoke about the direct and indirect channel that can be adopted to spread the goods, to distribute the goods all over the world. So, and apart from that, we also spoke about the components of logistics, different components of logistics that are to be taken care from the acquiring of raw material, processing and packaging, and also transporting and keeping the goods in warehouses till the time the goods are reached to the customer's hand. All the process, all the product that goes in different hands, that all we have seen. Now we are going to talk about a very important aspect. This is something very small topic and not that very important from your examination point of view, but as it is a part of your syllabus, we'll proceed it. After this two couple of slides, we'll be talking about the promotional techniques that have been adopted by the exporter. We'll emphasize more upon that part of it rather than this. Okay. So this is the very first topic that we are starting with in the second half of your module 2. So it is all about selection of modes of transportation. So there are n number of ways to send the goods from one country to another country. But again, there are different factors that are to be considered, that are to be, studied very beforehand so that we can decide the right mode of transportation to send our goods to the importer's country. So the very first one that we have is logistic feasibility. How far the mode of transportation that we are going to use is feasible for both the countries. For example, if we have trains into our country, but not necessarily the connectivity is that very strong by railways, or even for that matter by roadways, when you talk about the country from India to even Sri Lanka, or India to Japan, though they are neighboring countries, but still we cannot travel by train. We either have to send the goods via airways or via waterways that we have. But on the contrary, if we are selling something to Nepal, which is very close by, and we can send it via train or even roadway for that matter. So this is how, depending upon the feasibility, depending upon the connectivity of transportation, we need to decide what mode of transportation that we need to adopt to send our goods to our importer's country. The second factor that we need to consider is stowage of the cargo. Stowage refers to the amount of space that is available for stowing the material aboard a ship or rail or an airplane, because all these vehicles are going to require a good amount of space. So it's not like, our vehicle will go deliver the product and will come back. Maybe for some span of time, our vehicle will stay back into the importer's country. So at that point of time, whether that much of placement or landing of cargo, or even the airplane or airport kind of a thing, whether our importers country have it or not, that also needs to be checked it out before we finalize the particular mode of transportation. Further, we talk about the value of goods. Very, very important. It should not happen that in order to save money for transportation, we have taken a huge loss of spoiling the goods or the quality of goods for that matter. Therefore, freight charge in the air transportation might be costly as compared to other mode of transportation that is available. But tomorrow, if we are dealing in some luxurious products, you talk about gold, diamond, which are very lightweighted, and it will be very risky if we transport that via water transportation. So it is always advisable to go ahead with the, or to transport such goods via air transportation that we have. Further, even if the air transportation is viable mode of transporting precious minerals or items such as diamonds, gold, jewelry, and so on so. Further, we have is your shipping quantity. Let me tell you, majority of the products that have been exported or imported is via water transportation only, because though it is slow, but it is the way through which many of the countries are connected, and it has a larger capacity to carry the weight. If you see huge cargoes, even the vehicles, the four-wheeler cars or machineries, or the big huge this thing machineries and technology has been easily transported from one country to another country. So an exporter must consider the volume and weight of the consignment also, because whenever we are dealing in the international trade, it is generally the bulk order that we have to fulfill. And that's the reason why most of the time water transportation is the suitable mode of transportation that can be adopted. If the export quantity of one consignment is low, the exporter may choose air transportation depending upon the nature and value of the goods. Okay, so both the factors are to be considered, and then the exporter can take a call for it. Further, we have perishability of the cargo. How far the cargo is perishable in nature. When the cargo is perishable, it would be better to export the goods through air transport. Sea transport is less preferred due to longer transit times, and the perishable cargo may get spoiled. So many a time when we are trying to export the delicate items, or something that has to be reached and at the quickest time. So at that point of time, air transportation is always preferred, because I'm not saying that water transportation might get delayed or something, but many a times there are a lot of uncertainties with respect to climate, with respect to the high tide, low tide that is going on into the sea. So at that point of time, if there are chances that the goods are perishable in nature, and there are likely chances of goods to be spoiled if they are not reached within time, it is always advisable to take the fastest mode of transportation to reach the importer's country. Further, yes, urgency of the buyer, how quick the buyer needs the delivery of the goods. That also plays a very important role. So at that point of time, urgent need needs to be fulfilled, needs to be satisfied only via air transportation that we have. If it is not really urgent, it can take its own time, then we can have the water transportation to rely upon. Then we have cost of port terminals and risk factor that we have. So there are 2 points which I have clubbed together. There are certain port terminals, certain water ports which charge, or which go ahead only for the big consignments and not the smaller one. For example, what we have it at Mumbai is comparatively a smaller one, and we have a huge one. The larger than this MBBT trust that we have is at Hyderabad. So the big consignments are first sent to Hyderabad. It is again cross-checked, and then it is sent it further. So this is how the capacity of the port or the port terminals has also been checked beforehand. Further, the risk factor, every mode of transportation consists of some or the other risk which is involved into it. But generally, if you see, air transportation is the safest, and therefore an exporter may select air transportation, especially for the luxurious goods. I'm not saying water transportation is not safe, but again, there are a lot of insurance policies which have been introduced. ECGC has started playing a very crucial role to cover up the losses that can be incurred by the exporter. Again, every goods which has been transport, the marine insurance policy has been taken care either by the exporter or the importer. So these all are the criteria that needs to be taken care by the exporter before they finalize the mode of transportation. Okay. So as I said, this is just for your information. As of now, university has not asked any full-fledged question based on this topic. Okay. So chalo, let's move ahead. The next one is need for insurance. Very important. Just now I spoke to you about the marine insurance policy. Though government says that it is not mandatory, but it is always advisable for an exporter or even many a times importer to be on a safer side. He himself takes the marine insurance policy to protect the goods from any kind of natural calamity that might take place and the loss that would be incurred by either exporter or the importer. So let's talk about why there is a need for an insurance. So the very first thing, we need insurance to protect against commercial and political risk that we have. Now, what do you mean by commercial risk? That is a risk which is involved by the importer. That means goods are already exported and importer refused to make a payment. Or goods are ready, but now importer doesn't want to take the custody of those goods. So that's a risk only, right? Maybe the exporter may try to sell the same goods in other country, but as of now, till the time the goods are not being sold or the losses that he is incurred, that becomes a part of your commercial risk. Further, when you talk about political risk, it is the risk which is involved due to the government of importer's country. Tomorrow, suppose if I have taken a contract from China in the month of January, and all of a sudden in the month of March, you know, the way 2020 happened, in the month of March, everything was completely locked down. And there were strict rules and regulations by our Indian government that we are not going to have much relations with China. So even if my importer is ready to purchase from me, but due to certain government regulations or a kind of a situation that is existing into their country, they are not able to purchase my goods. Okay, so that is what is all about your political risk. Some situation created by the government and due to which the trade is not able to happen or trade takes place but the money is not being given back to the exporter. So the insurance is taken basically to protect against commercial and political risk. Further, to protect against credit risk. So what do you mean by the word credit risk? The exporter may extend the credit terms to the importer. However, if the importer fails to make the payment within the due date or within a reasonable period of time, in such cases, the exporter suffers the credit risk. The exporter may obtain some help from ECGC as well. ECGC is not the insurance kind of a thing, but ECGC is a provision, that is Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India. It is the provision made by Government of India, especially to protect the exporters and the financial institutions who are involved in the international trade. Okay? So yeah, so basically every importer gets 180 days ka liberal period to make the payment to the exporter. But what if the importer is not able to sell those goods or importer becomes insolvent for that matter, you know? So who is going to bear the risk? So up to a certain extent, the insurance has made some kind of arrangements or, helping hand that they can try and offer to protect against loss due to general principles. Now, what do you mean by this general principles? They are the something like, accidents to the vessel or, any kind of loss that is incurred due to the accidents that might take place in the water port or at the time of transportation. Then all this risk and whatever the goods are damaged, that risk have to be insured. Then we have contractual requirement. So the export contract may require the exporter to ensure the goods. For instance, under CIF contract, that is Cost Insurance and Freight contract, the exporter has to obtain the insurance to protect against loss of the goods due to damage or destruction or theft of the goods. Because many a time goods have been kept in the warehouses at the risk of the water port. But since there are huge water ports that we have, so at that point of time, there are very rare chances, but yes, the goods might get stolen, and that's the reason why it is always better to get it insured. Further, coverage for a limited carrier liability. So the carriers or the vessels may not be responsible for certain causes of loss that occurs in transit. For instance, the acts of God or to the general average principle, the carriers have limited risk liability. The exporter or the importer has to bear the major loss. In such a case, the exporter or an importer obtains insurance to minimize the losses that we have. Further, we have is to reduce the time for recovery of loss. So if there are any loss or any kind of uncertainty or a damage or a destruction of cargo, and if the cargo is not insured, the exporter or the importer may have to spend a lot of time, efforts, and energy to recover the loss from the shipping company. But the same time, efforts, and money can get settled the claims in the court of foreign markets if it is already been or if the goods are already been insured. Further, avoid blocking of working capital. So many a times the same working capital, instead of blocking it, or if the insurance has been paid very quickly, we can use same as a capital for further contracts or further products that we need to manufacture. That is all about the transportation and insurance part of it. So as I said, this is not that very important from an examination point of view, but yeah, still we did it. This is something which is very important, and we are going to spend a good amount of time understanding all these three concepts that we have. So we are talking about the sales promotion techniques. See, marketing goods is one part and promoting sales is another. So when you talk about marketing the goods, it is all about giving information, giving more features, telling people why they need to purchase the product and all. That's okay. That is a part and parcel of the marketing department. But now it is the role of sales department to promote or to persuade the consumers in a such a way that there are quick sales that take place into the market. For example, I'll give you an example. If you happen to see an advertisement of maybe McDonald's, okay, they have said that so and so combo offer has come into the market and this and that and all such things. So you are attracted to come forward and purchase it. But many a times you may also say that chalo, maybe next month is my birthday, so I will give treat to my friends next month. So it is not that quick sales. So next month ke pehle, matlab today, even though I have seen this advertisement, maybe 10 days later, if I something see new, or maybe just 2 days prior to my birthday, if I see something new, my mind might get diverted from McDonald's to that something new. So when you see something or when you like something, they are just attracting you to purchase it. But just small twist in that. But if they say that this combo offer will be there for next 1 week only. So they are persuading you, they are encouraging the consumers to purchase that combo offer within that 1 week. So that time period will force people, even if my birthday is next month, but still I'll say, let me go and try because this offer, I'm not going to get it again. You're getting? So this is how the sales are to be promoted. Then there has to be certain techniques to make the sales happen quick. So it is always a comparison when we talk about sales department, maybe on weekly basis or monthly basis, they try to understand what is the fluctuation of the sales. And if it goes low, then they need to answer why is it low, what all are the areas of improvement. And tomorrow, even if the sales go high, it's not like, oh wow, the sales are high, let's have fun. No, even if sales go high, they try to understand the reason behind it, so that the same techniques, same tactics can be used in further weeks or months also, to have the same peak of sales every year or every month for that matter. You're getting? So though marketing department and sales department will work hand in hand, but their roles are completely different. Okay, so that is, I hope at least you would have got the basic idea about what is sales promotion techniques. Now let me tell you, these are the three things which will help every exporter to increase the sales. So the very first thing is, let's target the consumer itself. That means let's come up with some kind of techniques, tactics, which I'll be showing it to you in my next slide, that how can we persuade the consumers to come forward and increase the sales. Okay. Next, we will be talking about trade oriented. That is the retailers or the middlemen, the agents. How can we motivate them to push the products in the hands of the consumers? And further, we will also talk about how or what kind of an incentives that can be offered to the agents or salesperson, so that they will increase the sales of the company. Okay. So we are basically going to talk on this three, or basically this two only. This is going to be a part of the trade oriented only. So basically this two we are going to talk in detail in next two slides. And let me tell you, a very likely question into your examination for a long answer can be either consumer oriented, customer oriented tactics, or trade oriented tactics that we have. Okay. Chalo, let's start with it. So yeah, the very first one, which is customer oriented, is combo packs, and very much popularized by McDonald's. So tomorrow, if I go to the McDonald's to have a burger and a Coke, so very quickly, very promptly, this salesperson who is on the counter, he will say that, madam, you just need to pay maybe 15 rupees extra to take this French fries. Otherwise, it's cost you around 65 if you take it individually. But since there is the combo packs, combo offers that are going on, you may just have to pay around 15-20 rupees extra to have this add-on French fries. So here, how are they persuading me? I would have never even thought of purchasing French fries. But just because when they make me realize the difference that 60 rupees ka cheese, you're going to get it at 20 rupees. So we always feel that what difference does it make, you know? And this is how the combo packs helps the retailer to sell more number or something which is very much attached to it, to the consumers that we have, you know. So that is how, or even for that matter, many a times, you know, you talk about when you likely to purchase a toothpaste. Needless to say, you also have toothbrushes, because without toothbrushes, you will never think of purchasing toothpaste also. So many a time they come up with the offer of having purchasing 2 toothpaste and getting some concessions on toothbrush, something of that sort. These are the combo packs that have been sold out. Further, yeah, very much during the festive seasons, we have seen the discounts that are given by very big reputed stores. You talk about Central, you talk about Pantaloons, you talk about the Amazon sale, the big announcement that they make it on most of the social networking sites to attract the audience and make them purchase their product. So huge discounts. And, you know, I have seen there are certain advertisements, you know, very beautiful advertisements of this Big Bazaar and all. They show the MRP price. Suppose the MRP price of particular product is 180. So they will cancel it and then they'll write it as a, you know, Big Bazaar price is maybe 150. So you are saving 30 rupees at a stretch. So all such, you know, showcasing tactics, I'll name it as, to attract the attention of the customer to purchase the product. Further, we have exchange offers, very much important, especially in the electronic products. A lot of time you talk about laptop, you talk about mobile phones, the radio, washing machine, oven, refrigerator. They also understand that what everyone has all these products. Only thing kharab hua hai ya naya lena hai ya something new that you want to come up into the market and you want to purchase it. So purana wala kya karega? So if that um, scrap seller is going to maybe give around 500 800 rupees, so better to sell it for 3000 4000. And these people are also very smart. They will also check it and they may resell it again by putting some add-on spare part or whatever that is a fault into it. They'll repair it and they might sell it at a very concessional rate. So it's a win-win situation for both of them basically. Okay, so yeah, there are a lot of exchange offers that are into the market, and that again attracts the attention of the customer, and then they are I'll not say fault the prey, but yeah, this is how the sales are increased. Especially for the FMCG goods and all, yeah, a good amount of free samples are given to make the customers used to the product, or maybe when they see a new product, the customers might hesitate even to taste it. I'll give you an example, especially when you talk about a face wash or a cream. So people don't want to take a risk because that may spoil their look, and they will not never take that risk of it. But free में मिला है, चल एक बार लगा के तो देखते हैं. So with that intention, they may try. So especially for toiletries or FMCG goods के लिए, the free samples may also work out to attract the customers to come forward and repurchase it in future. Yeah, nowadays there is a new techniques of giving those coupons to purchase or get it redeemed from big shops. So it's a wedding gift, or you talk about the birthday gifts and vouchers, where they can just go it to purchase the gift and redeem it. So gone are those days where they used to give the cash or money, and then we used to invest it or decide it what you need to do. So here we are specifying it that I'm giving you a voucher of Central, so you need to go there and redeem it. Further, again, for electronic products, product warranties that have been offered by the companies also been taken care, because a lot of time electronic products is not such that aaj liya to, maybe after 6 months we'll change it. It's not like that. Electronic products always have a longer shelf. So at that point of time, if something goes wrong, do we have that liberty to change a particular part into it or a spare part into it? What warranty that is offered by a particular company, that has to be checked, that has to be seen to understand what company is offering to the customer. So that may also attract. I remember during purchasing a mobile phone also, there is a particular website where they show the comparative grid. So Micromax ka, this is the warranty, this is the price, this is the megapixel of mobile phone, RAM, and so on and so forth. So as a headache, it will be of Micromax, it will be of Apple, it will be of Redmi, and so on and so forth. So this is how the product warranties might also induce people or customers to purchase it. Then we have other coupons. It is more or less like gifts only, vouchers, gifts, which I have already spoken. Then we have premium offers. Now, what do we mean by premium offers? It refers to exclusively for you. For example, to give you an example, Titan does this. Okay. So anytime if you have purchased a watches from Titan, so after purchasing the product, they will ask you your name, birth date, anniversary, so that during your birth date, suppose if your birthday falls in the month of March, so the whole month will be 10% extra discount, especially for you, just because it is your birthday. You're getting, so you should be made feel like a king on that particular month. And when we have the birthdays and all, we tend to purchase something new for ourselves. So this is how they're attracting you to come forward and purchase it. Same as for the cakes or even for that matter, the other luxurious products, So this is how the premium offers are given to the customers. Then we have installment sale. Very common nowadays, because if I'm purchasing a mobile phone worth rupees 20,000, and monthly, even if I have to pay 3,000, it's a very small amount if you're earning maybe around 50,000-60,000. So 3,000 will not even know how it goes, but you are still able to use that cell phone. So many a time, or even vice versa, when people are not able to afford that much of, even 10,000, let's talk about 10,000. So 10,000, even 1,000 is an installment. Within 10 months, he will be able to fulfill it. And simultaneously, he's also getting the benefit of using that particular product. So nowadays, even for a very small product, even if you talk about any kind of electronic gadget costing rupees 4,000, 5,000 also, uske upar bhi they try to give you the installment facility so that large number of customers can get attracted to purchase it. So that is all about the customer oriented techniques that can be adopted to increase the sales. Further, we have trade oriented. What do we mean by trade oriented? The agents and middlemen, we are encouraging them to make our product a sale on a larger scale. So the very first one is cash and trade discounts. And that means there are certain discounts which are offered by us. Okay, let me tell you how it works basically. I'm talking about, suppose you take the example of HUL company. So they come up with a lot of their brands and they are selling it in Big Bazaar. So Big Bazaar becomes a middleman for that matter. It becomes a platform via which the HUL is trying to sell their product. So tomorrow when they come up with the offer of, giving the discounts and all, so they will inform the traders also to give the discount, and that discounted amount or the money that they have, that can be given it by the seller. This is how the cash and trade discount can encourage the traders to sell it on a larger scale to the customers. Then we have credit terms, especially that can be offered to encourage the bulk orders from the retailers or dealers. So if you take larger quantity, we are likely to give more discount. Many a times when you talk about the books, or even for that matter, the kind of fruits or something, when you take it on large scale, they try to give maybe 50 rupees, 100 rupees discounted rate that we have. Then we have corporate advertising. The manufacturer may agree to share the advertising expenses of the dealers. This would induce the dealers to undertake a good amount of advertising to promote sales in their areas. So maybe the manufacturer may take extra efforts to put up the hoarding, or maybe a small kind of a poster or a banner of their own product which is available at the trader's shop. Further, staff incentive. This is something extra the trader or the manufacturer may think of doing it. Giving some extra incentives or some kind of gifts, festive gifts or something, so that the trader may give more importance to the manufacturer or their product that they are trying to offer it to the market. Further, we have is stock return. The manufacturer is ready to take the stock also in return. Not necessary every time he needs to, or he should be able to sell all the products. So whatever is remaining stock, he is okay taking it back from the trader. Many a time, this is something which has really attracted the trader to work hard, is dealer trophies. Lot of trophies and rewards have been introduced. It's not always in terms of money, but many a time those certificates and awards that have been put up on the wall, that are hung on the wall of the traders, also make their name and reputation very high in the market that they have. So the trophies that have been offered by the manufacturer or the producer may also help to sell their product on a large scale basis. Further, we have push incentives. So the extra efforts that the trader makes to push the product of the manufacturer in the market, he is likely to get that much of incentives. Apart from that, some kind of special incentives can be given for special order, some exclusively huge, big personalized order if the trader is likely to get it. So manufacturer don't mind giving them some extra incentives or special incentives for that. Many a time, the conferences can be organized by the manufacturer, especially to give more inputs, give more information to the trader about the features of the product or what other sales techniques, tactics that can be adopted to sell the product on a large scale basis. So this is how the combination of both the consumer oriented and trade oriented can help to promote the sales on large scale basis that we have. Further, the last one that we have is sales force incentives. Needless to say, there are a lot of human beings, human forces, sales representatives who are involved to push the sales, to push the product in the hands of the customer. So based on their performance, the incentives can be given. So as we say in HR, I'm sure you would have studied about getting the or analyzing the performance of the employee, not with others, but with himself or herself, how the sales representative has performed last year and how he has performed this year. So if the performance graph is going up, the incentives can be given to the sales force. Then we have the kind of suggestions in case during the meetings or any kind of problems that they are facing or sales that is going down. And if they come up with some constructive suggestion, which is likely to give them better results, even for that suggestions, some kind of incentives can be given by the trader. So this is how the Salesforce incentives are given to encourage the any initiatives taken by the salesperson. Okay, so yeah, this three things plays a very important role and to promote the product, of course. And I'm sure out of this three, one will surely be the part of your objective-oriented question. Okay, so trade fairs and exhibitions, we have seen a lot of trade fairs, exhibitions where the small scale traders are given an opportunity, given a platform to put up their stall and exhibit their creativity. Also, if the customers can come forward and purchase it, nothing like it. So this is how the trade fairs and exhibitions have started playing a crucial role, especially for the small traders that we have. We'll talk about importance in next slide. Then we have personal selling. Yeah, there are certain products where we need to deal personally from one customer to another one. We cannot have a mass publicity or a mass propaganda of particular product. So we need to deal customer by customer, and then we need to tell them how are we going to how the product is going to help them. And lastly, that we have is advertising. Yes, it's a huge topic that we have. There are multiple ways how the product can be advertised and can grab the attention of the customer. Okay, so let's talk one by one. So what is the importance of trade fairs and exhibitions? The very first thing is to create the awareness and develop the attitude. There are a lot of products that many a times we see for the first time in a lot of exhibitions and trade fairs that we have. So it is all about making people aware that such kind of products are also available into the market. So many, it's not only about exhibitions and all, but there are a lot of companies who take the initiative to put up a stall, maybe an individual stall in some of the societies or complex, or maybe even in the schools and colleges for that matter, to create the awareness, that these are the products that we are trying to offer, and also to develop the attitude. So many a times when people are, I have seen, I remember there was one particular this one, the shampoo named as Pantene when they had introduced that into the market. So not lot of girls were so very careful about washing their hair with shampoo, or, I'm talking about maybe 10 years, 12 years down the line. So this is how to create the awareness and to change their attitude. Yeah, mainly to change their attitude. How often we need to wash our hair with shampoo, and what change it will make it, or how that, whether we need to apply it on the scalp or just on to the hair, or whether we need to apply the oil and then we need to wash the hair. All the small things will help them to develop their attitude and use certain things which they have never done ever before. Then again, during the exhibitions, we have everything on trial basis. Try karke dekh lu. So when you see the advertisement on the TV, you just have to visualize and imagine how the product would be. But when you're seeing something, you can actually touch it, you can actually use it if possible, and then you can decide whether you really want to purchase this product or not. So demonstration of the product is again easily available, easily done when we have trade fairs and exhibitions. Further, yeah, since we have demonstrated the product very well, it helps to achieve the trust of the customers very easily. Compiling the list of prospective customers. So whosoever our customers are, we are able to tap them even in future. So next time when I suppose I have my own stall put up somewhere in Dadar today, and I earlier I used to put it in maybe Borivali. So I may invite some of my customers from Borivali also in Dadar by putting them one small SMS or mail stating that in so and so place we have put up a stall. Please do come and visit. So this is how maybe I may have to shoot 100 mails so that 10 people may turn up and 5 people may actually purchase it. But it is very easy for me to do that when I have a complete list of my customers compiled in hand, or maybe on my mail, or maybe if I have a WhatsApp group. So just one message, and the message is circulated to the n number of customers. Further, yes, though the people who put up their stalls in the trades and exhibitions are small scale, but yes, slowly and steadily they are able to gain that brand image into the market. They're able to have their own reputation getting generated into the market. Educating the customers. Yes, there are certain exhibitions which have been organized only and only to educate people or make people aware about certain things. So, there are a lot of exhibitions. Recently, I was just going through one of the social networking sites where I saw there was some exhibition about how did this Bollywood came up into the picture. There was some exhibition which is there, I think, till the mid of June or something, somewhere in South Bombay. So this is how they are trying to make people aware, educate customers. What was the scenario earlier? How the movies were made, with what kind of cameras, and what is the growth that has taken place right away. This is how to educate customers about new things or new topics. Such kind of exhibitions have been put up. And last thing that we have is expansion of markets. So many a time when we are not able to enter into different markets, but entering into one particular exhibition and asking a lot of people to join in can also help us to expand our market. So that is all about the significance of trade fairs and exhibitions. Further, in the same way, let us also understand what are the benefits, or why is it important to deal with personal selling. So the very first thing we need to know is identifying the prospective buyer. Yes, very good. As I told you, trade fairs and exhibitions is applicable for anyone and everyone. कोई भी आओ, देखो, खरीदो, जानो, लेके जाओ. But when you talk about personal selling, you have to be more specific. You cannot be generic in nature. So you need to identify whether this particular person, will he be my buyer? So let me tell you, when I'm selling the handbags, okay, or if I'm selling the perfumes, you or maybe a cosmetic. So who will be my buyer? It will be obviously a girl or a woman. Okay. So it will be of no use me asking much. I'm not saying I cannot target males. Obviously, males can also purchase for their wives, for their friends, for their mothers, and so on and so forth. But my major target or my major chunk of customers will be females only, right? So I need to identify in females also who all will be likely be my buyer. Someone who is already using cosmetics, someone who has, the way they walk, the way they look into it. So this is how I need to identify whom I need to tap on. Okay? Further, once when I identify who all are my buyers, I need to persuade the customers. How will I persuade? By letting them know what all features that I am offering in my product. Or even if as I spoke to you right now, as I gave you the example about the cosmetic. So what all kind of shades that I have. Okay. What is the quantity? Because many a time it happens that we take a huge, maybe a lipstick or something, and then many a time we don't use it completely. So when it is available in a very small quantity, you can always change it, or the shades can be changed or something of that sort. So I need to tell them the feature that I'm going to offer in my product. Further, increase on sales and market share. I need to also think about how can I increase the sales. So a particular shade of lipstick, when they take it, I can also offer the same shade of nail paint also, because a lot of females are very much concerned about having everything go hand in hand. So this is how, if I come up or if I make a pair or make a particular, what we say, the pouch with having the same shades of 4 to 5 cosmetics, it will help me to increase the sales. Obviously, I need to create a corporate image. So maybe some kind of branding that can be done on the bag or on the product, which will help me to generate the image. Competitive advantage, I need to tell the product how good my products are as compared to the competitors. Needless to say, I also need to check on whether the customers are satisfied or not, and that cannot happen within a day or so. Maybe after 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, or maybe 15 to 20 days later, I may put up a feedback link so that I may really understand whether they are happy or not. And further, I also need to check on whether the customer is loyal or not. How will I check that? Whether they are reordering the products or not. Abhi liya hai, but वापस भी order कर रहे हैं कि नहीं? If they do it, then we can always say that, yeah, we are dealing with the loyal customer. And if they don't do it, then maybe somewhere or the other, there is always a scope of improvement, and that we need to identify. Every time it will not be possible to sell it on our own or hire the salesman and get this job done by them. So we can also come up with some good relationships with the dealer. So the person who already has his own cosmetic shops or something, we can ask him to keep our brand also into it, This is how the traders can help, or if we develop a good relation with the traders, it will help the traders also to sell more, and our brand will also come up very well. So these are the benefits of personal selling. This we will very quickly do it because we are already well versed with the concept of advertising. So we need to know the objectives of audience. That means, suppose if we are dealing with the youth, So we can think of no, what are sorry, it's not objective of the audience, objective of the advertising basically. Okay. So what is the main purpose of advertising? To increase the sales or to promote about the product or to make people aware about the product. So we need to identify what are the objectives, and accordingly we need to come up with our advertising strategies. If we want to remind the people about our product, so maybe the complete advertisement need not be shown, just the uh, half of it or the main part of the advertisement can be shown, just to remind people that yeah, our product also exists into the market. Then we need to take a call on the target audience. Who is our audience? Whom we are offering the product to? Suppose if at all, if you're offering a product to a youth, then we should target or we should try and show the advertisement more often onto the social networking sites, because youth are the one who are glued onto the social media, and they will know what to purchase and what not to. So attracting them becomes very easy when we put everything on the social media. Again, we need to decide the medium of advertising, whether we are going to come up with the digital advertising or broadcasting of the advertising or print media. So there are several media which is available. So depending upon our budget, depending upon our target audience, we may decide a particular medium to use for the advertising. Yeah, nowadays very easily the language can be converted from one language to the another one. So depending upon on whom we are targeting, which state that we are talking about, so based on that, the language can be used. Yeah, in certain cases, we really need to have certain brand ambassadors to make our brand big and very much known. So we can talk about, let's talk about the, for the social cause, when we talk about, eradicating the disease like polio. We had Amitabh Bachchan as a brand ambassador who used to always promote about Do Boon Zindagi Ke, right? So this is how a lot of people, maybe even in the remote areas, people don't know what is polio. But at least when they see and when they hear Amitabh Bachchan promoting about taking polio dose regularly. So at that point of time, they go to a particular place or whatever Anganwadis and all that they have, and they see to it that their child gets that polio doses that they have. So this is how is the beauty of having a brand ambassador for a particular brand. Selection of an ad agency. We cannot deal in all the aspects. So many a time making of advertisement, putting it onto a particular media, deciding which slot that they need to have, all this has been taken care by this ad agency. They are like a middleman, or you can say the outsourced agent who takes care of the advertising part of it. There are a lot of advertisements that are being shown just to educate people. The way we spoke about trade fairs and exhibitions, in the same way, there are a lot of advertisements. It is just to educate people. The way we spoke about Do Boon Zindagi Ke, same, there are a lot of even recent one I remember, since the digital payment has become very easy. Now, same way, Amitabh Bachchan is also promoting about the frauds that are taking place with the help of this Paytm and other online mode of payment that we have. So again, a lot of awareness and spread of education has to be done among the customers, stating that these are the precautionary measures that they need to take beforehand before they make any kind of online payment. And finally, all said and done, we need to also know what is the budget allocated for making of the advertisement, so that accordingly things can be worked out. So these are the essentials of advertising. These are the things that we need to take care when we decide to advertise particular product onto the mass level. These are things that we need to take care. So that is where we come to an end of your module 2 that we have. So the first part was all about your direct and indirect channel. And last part, which we covered it today, is all about your promotional tactics. So mainly you need to focus upon the promotional tactics, and last three points that we discussed: trade fairs and exhibitions, personal selling, and advertising. So that is all about your module 2. Very soon we will come up with your module 3 that we have, which talks all about your export finance part of it. Okay? We'll wind up here for today. Thank you so much.